What is up, everybody? I'm Yellowstone Wolf, aka Captain America. I did that to get your guys' attention, and I certainly hope that it did. It looks like it did. I mean, I am definitely Captain America, and I haven't been given that title lightly, trust me on that. But part of the reason why I came forward in this way and, caused a little quote-unquote disruption in the Q community here is to get your guys' attention. Because whether or not you know it, whether or not you believe it, I am from the highest levels. I am talking to you on behalf of the highest levels of the government and the military. Okay, I in particular am working with the Navy. I've been a part of the Navy's Super Soldier program for quite some time, and I have been communicating with them regarding this quote unquote plan that has actually been in place for quite some time before the Q movement ever took place. Okay, and what I'm doing in this video is I'm bringing you the quote unquote plan that we have been asking you guys to trust for so long, and where you fit in it, why you fit in it where you do, and hopefully this is a good enough relay of information to where we can really move forward as a civilization. Okay, I'm talking like next level stuff like free energy. I'm talking about anti-gravity craft. I'm talking about medical cures, these 5,000 disruptive patents, okay, that need to be released to the public. And the only way that that's going to happen is if we demand it, okay? So if you're not going to watch any more of this video, if you're just going to shut me down in the first few minutes, this is the plan. I'm going to get into far more detail in the video if you want to stick around. But here's the plan, you guys. While you're talking with your friends and family at Easter, okay, what you need to be talking to them about are the 3 patents that the Navy just released to the public. One for an anti-gravity craft called TR-3B, okay, a TR-3B anti-gravity craft. It's a triangle, okay, that we've had for quite some time. That's patent number 1. Patent number 2 is what is known as a 0-point free energy device, okay? We're talking about like a generator about this big that produces more energy in a single day than the largest nuclear power plant does in this whole country in a single year, okay? So more energy in one day than a nuclear power plant does in a year. That's the level of technology we were talking about that was released to the public by the Navy. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm coming from the Navy. I'm telling you that the Navy is releasing these patents. The final patent that they release is something known as a room temperature superconductor that allows this free energy device to operate without quote unquote overheating at any point. Okay, and if you combine these 3 things, the room temperature superconductor, the free energy device, and the TR-3B anti-gravity craft together, then you get the Space Force. This is where we get the Space Force. So while you're at Easter, talk about the Space Force. Talk about getting this technology to the public. Talk about the fact that this is what we're doing, that this is a real thing, that this is the future, because everybody likes hearing about the future. Everybody likes the idea of going out into space. Okay, nobody's going to want to hear about these dumbs being destroyed with earthquake machines or children being rescued or Satanists drinking adrenochrome. They don't want to hear that. No, I mean, we didn't want to hear it. And think about like trying to tell other people that are like really asleep. Okay, they don't want to hear that stuff. What they do want to hear, though, is about the future. They want to hear about us going out into space. They want to hear about free energy, so not ever having to pay for gas, not ever having to pay for electricity ever again. Okay, not ever having to pay to, say, like pay a toll at a bridge or on a road. Okay, that essentially we're talking about flying craft all over the globe, going from London to LA in the snap of a finger, from Hong Kong to Paris in the snap of a finger. Okay, that's what we are talking about here, you guys. We're talking about the future of humanity. So this is what the plan is. Okay, and we're going to get in a little more into depth as to why this is the plan, why we're choosing to do this now, what exactly it is that the bigger picture looks like from our perspective, and how each individual American, yourself, myself, and everybody in the world actually fits into this on like a global scale, and they're either playing for one side or the other, whether or not they know it. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. That's what we're going to get into detail about. So let's get started, okay? Okie dokie. So let's start with the idea that you guys have done so well. We are so proud of you. We are so happy that you guys have come this far. All right. It's been quite the journey. Many of you haven't necessarily understood all the comms or all the communications or seen the patterns, but that's okay. Other people figured it out and they relayed the concept, and then you got what they were saying. But there still have been some people that just haven't fully understood, and they feel like Q isn't doing anything. They feel like there isn't any movement going on. But that's because in many cases, these are people that are paying attention to the surface. They're focused on trying to convert their friends or their family, and they're not seeing the way that there's all sorts of changes going on below the surface of the mainstream. That way it doesn't disrupt the majority's paradigm, essentially, at least not too much. So you guys have done a really good job at connecting the dots. Today is kind of like graduation day. I'm going to help you to go from a simple trail of breadcrumbs to working with whole loaves of information. Okay, so instead of getting breadcrumbs, you're going to get a whole loaf, and then from now on, you're going to start getting whole loaves. That way, we can really start moving forward. Okay, and you will have been getting whole loaves if you just watched my videos. Okay, I talk about stargates, I talk about aliens. If you're really into that, I talk about understanding the enemy's strategy and how it is that these globalists have been trying to take over the globe. I talk about economics. I talk about the healthcare system. I talk about the education system. Okay, I talk about all of it. All right. So in this video, we're going to help you to level up. We're going to help you to read the comms. We're going to help you to read in between the lines a little bit and see these movements that are happening below the surface and how these are actually huge movements. And we're going to hopefully turn our some of the people within our army of digital soldiers into from this into this. Okay, forgive the misspeech. Okay, so reading it in the quote-unquote normal way, this message would read, nothing read is ever between what the lines seems. But if you read it with an informed understanding, it comes out, nothing is ever what it seems. Read between the lines. Okay, so in the intelligence community, this is how they communicate. They have things where you have to read in between the lines. They don't always tell you right out what exactly they're trying to say. In many cases, they use symbolism or memes or all sorts of ways of communicating, okay, that are beyond words. And this is very important to understand. Okay, that many of you do understand it, and you understand that if you follow the white rabbit, that you have been being prepped for something, that you are a self-selected individual within either the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America, or you are a citizen of your foreign nation to the United States. Foreign nation is another nation of the United States of America. Anyway, this has been going on all over the globe, and this Q movement is actually a global movement. Okay, full of self-selected individuals that have been seeing this pattern in this trail of breadcrumbs as they followed the white rabbit down the rabbit hole. And more individuals started taking this leap of faith, and then eventually everybody started to end up connecting and sharing information, and everybody started seeing the same patterns, okay? And this was the intended idea. Everybody was neuro-linguistically reprogramming themselves to the truth based on disseminating information from the highest levels of government, real information. We're talking about real information of what's actually going on to the people for the first time in quite some time. All right? And now part of the reason why this was done is to end up amassing this group of individuals that understand what's actually going on, and having these individuals all be people that came to these conclusions themselves, not necessarily something that they were told to think. Okay, now part of the reason why the plan has been kept quote unquote secret and why we're asking you to trust this plan is because we're talking about warfare here, and loose lips sink ships. And if the enemy ends up figuring out what the information that we really are like communicating to each other is, then they're far more able to take down our plans or destroy the plan. Okay, so we are at a stage with the plan now where I can come forward and I can tell you this is the next step, this is where we're going next. And if you understand these comms here, then you can see how what it is that I'm saying makes sense. Okay, in many cases throughout this process, to protect the integrity of the plan and to help, people kind of just trust us, at the highest levels, a lot of people have been this way, and they've gotten really, really savage with people that are leaders in this community. Okay, and they've tried in many cases, they've acted like disinformation agents, or they have actually been disinformation agents that are trying to mar and scar the leadership. Okay, so this is warfare, okay, and it's information warfare. All right, we're going to get into that in a little bit. With all that said, regardless of whether or not you believe everything I'm telling you, and you have to take everything it is that I'm saying with a grain of salt, that's fine. Just take it. Okay? All right. So moving on. The plan is this, you guys. We need y'all to talk about the 3 patents that the Navy just released to the public. These are public patents, one being an anti-gravity craft known as the TR-3B. Okay? We're talking about anti-gravity craft. This thing is able to go faster than the speed of light. Okay? We're talking about multiples of C here. Okay? Also, a free energy device, a 0-point free energy device. Okay? This is huge. This is huge. And a room temperature superconductor. The room temperature superconductor allows the free energy device to operate without overheating. And if you combine the 3 of these things, then what you end up getting is a anti-gravity vehicle with an infinite amount of energy, an infinite amount of a power supply out of the very vacuum of space. Okay, which basically means that you end up having the ability to create the Space Force. So this is what we need you guys to talk about with your friends and family. This is part of the plan. This is essentially the quote unquote crux of the plan. This is kind of like check or checkmate in this plan. Okay, because the Navy also came forward with the idea that there is footage of a Navy pilot following an extraterrestrial or a UAP, not an extraterrestrial, a UAP. Okay, unidentified aerial phenomena, a quote-unquote UFO or an extraterrestrial craft. They also have disclosed the fact that they have a protocol for their pilots if they were to run into a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, or a quote-unquote UFO. Okay? So all of these things, the fact that the Navy has released this, these patents, the fact that the Navy has released this information and this footage, the fact that I am coming forward to you and telling you I'm with the Navy in the Super Soldier program, and we've done all this incredible stuff together, working hand in glove with each other, trying to like rid the world of interdimensional beings and all this. It's like, it's legit, you guys. I'm not lying to you. Okay? So regardless, cut me out of the equation. I'm just the messenger. I'm just here to tell you this is what we need you guys to talk about. Talk about the Space Force. Talk about free energy. Talk about the ability to like take tours of the solar system, or the idea of completely transforming our society based off of this technology and not having to like, you know, be at the whim of the petrodollar, which is owned by less than 1% of the population. Talk about the fact that Trump just changed our economic structure in our country from owing the Federal Reserve money every year to the Federal Reserve now being merged with the Treasury Department, and we're seizing all the assets of the Rothschilds that because of our ability through RICO law to prosecute them as conspirators. Okay, global conspirators. And then that means we seize all their assets, which means that they pay for all the debt. Okay, and all that money goes to the Treasury. Okay, and that isn't, you guys, this isn't just in our country. Because we've done this in our country, there's like over 100 and some odd, 180 countries or something like that, whose ledgers or whose debts are also owed to the Federal Reserve Bank. This is what we need you guys to talk about. This is the plan, you guys. This is the plan. This is how we move society forward. The gold-based currency, the free energy systems, the anti-gravity craft. This is the future. This is what we talk about. Nobody, your family's not going to want to hear the truth, you guys. Not, at least not about children being abducted, not about politicians and celebrities being brainwashed adrenochrome drinkers or whatever. Not about the idea of deep underground military bases being destroyed with earthquake machines and stuff like that, which we're going to get to in this video. But they're going to want to hear about the future, because all that other stuff, what that does is that makes them feel very vulnerable in a not good way. That makes them like, oh no, oh my gosh, I'm worried. And because we understand the gravity, we want to get them to understand the gravity of what's going on. But that's not going to help. That's not going to help the cause, you guys. What we need to do is talk about this stuff. What we need to do is talk about the stuff that makes people go, oh, really? Well, how about that? Oh, I look forward to seeing Jupiter one day. I look forward to going through the asteroid belt and going, wow, how about that? Okay, and this is also part of the future too, you guys, because of the Space Force, that means that we're able to like now mine asteroids, which means we don't have to mine anything here on Earth. We don't have to create pollution here on Earth. We don't have to mine anything here on this planet ever again. We don't have to destroy ecosystems ever again for resources. This is everything, you guys. This is everything. This is full disclosure. We are moving toward full disclosure. That is the goal here, okay? And this is full disclosure. I've come forward and told you I'm essentially an interdimensional being, okay? From a high frequency plane of existence, of light, like an angelic realm, essentially. All right? All of these things, everything that we're disclosing to you, this is full disclosure, you guys. Okay? This is the plan, is full disclosure, at least about the anti-gravity craft, about the free energy, about the existence of UAPs or unidentified aerial phenomena, the fact that we have a military policy to deal with these things, and the fact that we have a Space Force, you guys, we have a Space Force. This is the future, man. This is what we talk about at Easter. This is the plan, okay? So with all that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a little more depth as to the dual sides to the military-industrial complex, okay? Because if you guys really are, if you're still with me, then I'm going to get deep on this stuff and how we can look at the global picture in a way that completely transforms our perspective and our paradigm, okay? And I'm sure many of you are already thinking along these lines, and what it is that I'm doing for you is just verification. And that's also part of this, is about reinforcing in your minds the fact that you do understand and know the truth, okay? This is kind of like stepping forward and being like, yep, that's right, you're doing good, you're doing good, you're doing good. And here's maybe where you need a correction, or here's maybe where, you know, you didn't get the message, but here you definitely did, here you definitely did put this together, put that, you know, etc. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the Q community or the military, okay, and the cabal, and each of their plans and their means of attack or their means of getting those plans to move forward. And with that said, we're talking about dual aspects to the military-industrial complex, or the deep state, which is essentially the combination of political, economic, scientific, intelligence, military, and diplomatic operations, to quote Kennedy. Okay, we're talking about a tightly knit, highly efficient machine here, okay, that is combining political, economic, scientific, intelligence, military, and diplomatic operations, okay? So because there's these dual factions within the military-industrial complex of those that want to use these top secret security clearances, these deep underground military bases, and this highly classified technology to enslave the planet and keep themselves in power, there is also the other side, which is like, no, we need to liberate the populations. We need to tell people what's actually going on. We need to move forward as a society. These things should not be used to enslave the planet. We need to use these tools to liberate the planet and clean up the messes that we've made. Okay? So that's the side I'm on. That's the side you're on. All right. And it's important to understand what exactly the Q community or the Q plan is, and how it relates to the cabal's plan, and how these things kind of like work together and work themselves out to where we're actually going to create the future that the Q community wants, and not the way that the cabal wants. Okay. So here we go. Goals and ends for the quote-unquote Q community. And when I say what the Q community wants, what I mean is more so what humanity wants, okay, which is our freedom. Okay, and that's what the goal for of the Q community shows what exactly it is, or the Q movement, not just the individuals that are within it, but the people that are disseminating from the top. Okay, this is their goal: is full disclosure, independence, enlightenment, ascension, abundance, no chaos, no violence. They want to disassemble the corrupt system and the corrupt power structures, and they want to reestablish the economy and the currency and the technology that we use to be upgraded, to be evolved, okay, to be at a new level, as opposed to at this like suppressed level where everything is just about making money. Okay, so there's going to be certain means or ways of quote unquote attack, because if we understand that we're talking about the use of like corporations, the use of like military movements, the use of like intelligence agencies and yada, 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 then we realize that we're talking about like a global system here, okay? So there's going to be ways that they fight with these global systems, okay? So if we recognize how these individuals, these high-level individuals are fighting on like a global scale, then we can really begin to see how their plans work on each side and how these things have worked themselves out relative to each other. So full disclosure, what the Q quote-unquote military side has done is they created the Q movement with breadcrumbs that eventually lead to a full disclosure event, okay? In order to get independence, what they've done is they've moved from keeping these patents secret regarding free energy and anti-gravity to putting them out there, and then changing the currency system to a gold-based standard, okay? Enlightenment and ascension, global mass awakening, essentially, is the combination of our scientific and spiritual understandings being explained to everybody in the public, in the Q community, everywhere, through medical breakthroughs and through like things like anti-gravity tech and stuff like that, as well as, and this is just as important as these other things, you guys, if not more important. I would say it's more important. That's just me, because this is key to understanding how it is that I'm able to do some of the stuff I'm able to do. Okay, and that is ancient tools and techniques, okay? Ancient tools and techniques in plant medicines and ancient shamanic techniques, okay? As well as alternative media. They have used alternative media through things like you know, the Q community and all of the other media sources that just blow the networks out of the water. They've actually used these communities to get real information into the public. In many cases, it is mixed with disinformation, but not all the time, okay? So in order to create abundance, what we've done is we've moved toward an entirely new socioeconomic system based off of a whole different type of technology and relationship to the environment. Okay, we're talking about the idea of things like 3D printing food. We're talking about the idea of creating crops and stuff out in the middle of the ocean as opposed to digging up the earth and creating farming in that way. We're talking about a symbiotic relationship with the environment, you guys. Okay, they want to disassemble the corrupt and evil power structures that are already existing and creating this whole other system that is destroying the planet and enslaving the people. Okay, so how would they do that though? How do you get rid of a global socioeconomic geopolitical force that is based in like all these other evil aspects, whether it be the psychic stuff involving Satanism, whether it be the economic stuff involving parasitism and the destruction of ecosystems, whether it be the corrupt like law side and the way that these individuals have hijacked governments and have created laws with loopholes that allow them to do whatever they want. Like, how do you stop that? How do you stop a cabal that has like time travel technology, that has psychotronic weaponry? How do you fight people like that? Okay. So what you do is you do a secret war. You do a war at the top that only certain individuals at the top on a certain side, a certain faction know about and all have agreed upon. Okay. And then you drip disclosure to people that are really wanting to know the truth. So you figure out a way of getting information to people that actually want to know the truth. And then these people end up understanding what you understand, which reinforces, and this is very important, which reinforces this idea in the collective mind and helps us to battle off this evil presence that is affecting the collective mind of our species. Okay. So that's where Q comes in. And in the process of doing this attack plan, which is essentially the secret war, the drip disclosure, and the Q movement, what these individuals had to do is they had to infiltrate into the cabal's networks. Then they had to collect intel. Then they had to indict, arrest, and then disclose and expose. Okay, and it had to be done pretty much in this order in order to like gain as much ground and get as many people as humanly possible. Okay, so it had to take its time. And so we had to drip feed or breadcrumb and lead you guys down this trail so that you all could understand what exactly has been going on. That way, at a certain time, when we have all these indictments and all these arrests and all these things and we're about to disclose, we can come forward with full disclosure in a way that cannot be fucked with. Okay? So, in the process, we're also looking to reestablish a new economy and currency system and technological system. So we have two ways of doing this, okay? We have two ways of doing this. One is the slow way, slow process. The other is a rapid transformation or a rapid transition, okay? And this is going to be based off of either successes or failures regarding some of these other operations that are going on. Okay, so it's not all, the plan is going to be shifting based on what the enemy does, okay? This is warfare, and we couldn't have the enemy knowing the intel that we knew compromising any sort of operation until success was assured, all right? So this whole COVID-19 thing, it actually is something that we saw coming through Project Looking Glass, all right? So we use this as the opportunity to we use this as the opportunity to halt the economy and create a rapid transition regarding the release of this technology and the switch of our currency system. But because we have this looking glass technology, it wasn't anything that we weren't prepared for. So we had to move alongside this understanding of what was going to be coming in a way that allowed for the crescendo to be one that was stable and didn't just completely destroy our economy and mess everything up. We're talking about warfare here, you guys. Now you're really beginning to see, huh? Okay, so how we had to do this, well, hold on a second, hold on. Let's get to the idea that we have been working hand in glove, myself, Donald Trump, okay, and many other people that are not on the surface have been working hand in glove with the highest levels of the military. We've been seeing this whole puzzle piece coming together, this whole thing coming together on like a global scale. We've seen the chess game. We understand the idea that in most cases, what we're talking about is a warfare between people that have top secret security clearances and above top secret security clearances. We're talking like super secret space programs type stuff. Okay, we're talking about like advanced off-world colonies type of stuff that has been going on underneath the public's nose, whether or not you guys know it or not. Okay, this is where our billions and billions and billions of dollars have been going. This is where like black budget money goes. Okay, but it has also been being used by certain factions of the military to end up kicking off this cabal and getting them off of our planet, getting these evil beings out of our quote-unquote dimension of reality, and creating a peaceful world once again, okay? So now we're going to talk about the cabal's plans and ends and how all this stuff interacts and works together, okay? Then we're going to talk about this COVID-19 thing. Then we're going to talk about where things go afterwards, okay? So the goals and ends of the cabal is this. They want everything to stay classified. They want dependence and interdependent economies, okay? They want a mind-controlled population, or basically mass enslavement through the monopolies that they have on already existing resources and media outlets, okay? They want the illusion of scarcity everywhere for the sake of control and their own personal profit, okay? They want for the illusion of scarcity in the presence of abundance to create fear and mass hysteria that they control, okay? They want chaos, they want violence, they want fear, they want death. Because these things allow them to clamp down with more control and more reason to quote unquote have the UN step in or yada, 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 okay? They also want to maintain the increasingly fragile, corrupt system of power and control that creates these illusions on a global scale for everybody, okay? They want to take back, because of the moves that Donald Trump has made in hand in glove with the military, and because of the moves that I've also made hand in glove with the military, we have taken back our power in this country. So for them, they want to take back control, not just of America, because once they lost control of America, they lost control of the world, y'all. So once they want to take back control of America in particular, that way they can use our system, whether it be our media or our military or whatever, to push more fear, create mandatory vaccines, and weaponize 5G. Okay? So this essentially is their plan and was their plan for quite some time. But once they started losing, they like, okay, well, we have to do something in response to this loss that will give us control of the narrative again. So basically what they want is they want mind control. They want to control the narrative. That way they can keep business as usual, okay? Ultimately, though, their end goal, more than anything, is transhumanism, you guys, is human beings merging with AI. Okay, we're talking like nanobots in your brain and your body and stuff, controlling your mind. I know it sounds crazy, but when you understand what's going on at the top secret, highest levels of government, you guys, and you understand that there's all sorts of people like in the movie Kingsman, all sorts of heads of state that would willingly just, you know, go to a deep underground military base while everybody on the surface just freaking dies due to a frequency that was emitted from their phones, huh? A mind control frequency? Okay, that's disclosure. That is the white hats within I think the English aspect to the intelligence agencies trying to tell people what is going on. Okay, and it's no wonder that Obama's head blew up at the end of that movie, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. That way they were all trying to say something about our leadership. Okay, so what we have here on like a global scale is, say, the UN, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group, the Trilateral Commission, all of these institutions that are full of people that are either corrupted through pedophilia or secret societies or through money laundering or through crime and like murder, you name it, to create a like corrupt global pyramid that is several pyramids within one another. Okay, and what we have is a corrupt side and a non-corrupt side. And there's people that are caught in the middle because they're just doing their job for one side or the other. This is also important to understand. Okay, but in many cases, the people that are fighting for a certain side know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know that it's wrong. That's part of the reason why their plans have continued to fail. But anyway, case in point, guys, is if we look at the big picture here and we look at this global system, this tightly knit, highly efficient machine, as one gear wants to go one way, the other gear is like, no, we're going this other way. And this other gear has more power and more strength. This other gear is more brittle and more old, and it's falling to pieces. Okay, so what we need is for everybody in this one gear, which is the disclosure, full disclosure, enlightenment, ascension gear, the Q community, to push forward with ferocity toward this goal of disclosure, toward talking about all this full disclosure and all this stuff that is going on. Hopefully you get this, especially at this time where our economy is really low and we can actually release this technology and bring our economy sky high. Okay, and at the same time, we can also just like totally null and void 5G, totally null and void vaccines. Okay, we're going to get in all that. What we're talking about, you guys, is essentially we're fighting the Fourth Reich and Satanism. We're talking about the Fourth Reich and Satanists in outer space, essentially. That's why I have this picture here. Okay, and they've been using the socioeconomic network of the corrupt system and the illegal black market system to rig the globe so that they can stay in power and continue to harvest the blood of our children. This is the kind of stuff, this is the evil that we are talking about, you guys. In the deep underground bases, deep underground, in many cases, privately owned deep underground bases, not all, but many of these billionaires build these things with their money. Many of these trillionaires, many of these international bankers, they build this stuff with their money through corporations that they own. Okay, the easiest way to take over is through corruption and through corporations and the use of banks to control the system itself through money. Okay, and if you control that system, then you can do whatever you want with the money, because you can just make more and more money. You can just throw more and more money at it. So the cost of making something like a deep underground base is nothing. It's nothing. Forget about it. Okay, all the while they're watching the people with above the base, or the people in these cities, like a hawk. So what we have is we have dual sides, okay, of like a 4D chess game going on here. Okay, maybe even 5D, if you really understand how that stuff works. One side is the Q movement, the follow the white rabbit, the military, basically people that are trying to protect the people that have to realize when their country is being attacked, when they're at war, okay, and how to fight it, okay? So in this case, it's about disseminating true information to help amass an army of digital soldiers and people that are inundated with the truth, that have followed the white rabbit, that have put all this stuff together on their own, so that we can change the collective mind of the species and push this interdimensional force off our planet all at the same time, so that we can all work together in this full disclosure push to where it breaks this other gear and moves the humanity forward in like a metaphysical and physical sense, okay? And it's really not all that hard to do when you realize that what we have on our side is God. What we have on our side is the truth. What we have on our side is freedom, love, and we outnumber them, you guys. What they have is a fragile system that is based off of blackmail. Blackmail holds all of these people together, and evil holds all of these people together, because in many cases, in like the Council on Foreign Relations, or even like the UN, what we're talking about is dictators. We're talking about dictators that have gotten together, and everybody's just sitting around agreeing with each other, saying, yeah, I agree. We need to do something about this population problem. Yes, sir. Then let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, yeah, let's all do it. Let's use our billions of dollars to depopulate the earth. Vaccines, 5G. Okay, nanobots. Okay, and this is the type of conversations that are being had at these levels of power, you guys. Believe me, I've been there. I've remote viewed all of it. Trust me, it's true. Okay? And I know how that may sound to some of you, but I know how it sounds to the rest of you. So the way that it works is, in this fight between these dual aspects to the deep state, or the military industrial complex, it is vital for the people on this side to spread information about people on this side, and it's vital for people on this side to spread misinformation and disinformation about people on this side. Woo! In other words, it's a battle of truth over lies, okay? It's a battle of information. It's about recognizing truth from lies, learning, oh, okay, there's a pattern to all this, like misinformation and information. There's a pattern to this disinformation. The sources and where they come from, the rhetoric and how it sounds, the patterns themselves are evident once they're recognized. It's almost like being able to learn somebody's tell in poker. The moment that you know their tell, they're yours. Okay, you know everything they have every time. Okay, the game doesn't have to be rigged. You just have to know how to play it. All right. So, what is the plan of attack here for, say, the Q community? Okay, what is the plan of attack for, say, we'll just say for the sake of argument, for the Navy? Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, our goal is heaven on earth and mass awakening, mass enlightenment. Okay, and the plan of attack, now that the game has changed a little bit, because I've already kind of explained what the plan of attack is. Now that the game has changed with this whole COVID-19 and all that stuff, the plan of attack, in many ways, it's remained the same, but now we just are going to use the enemy's mistakes against them and push our agenda even further with more ferocity, because now we understand the type of sick people we're talking about here, people that are willing to release a virus and kill millions, billions of people, okay? So we have a plan of attack, and we also have a plan of maintenance, where we're going to create heaven on earth, we're going to create mass awakenings, and then we're going to maintain that shit. And there's going to be no fucking with it either. Okay, pardon the language. But if they would have fired Patton for his language, well, they would have lost the war. Okay, so our goal is to move from a poverty-stricken, famine-filled dystopia based off of drugs and monopolizing resources, creating crime based off of the illusion of scarcity, pollution everywhere, holding back our technological advances. We're moving away from all of that. Okay, we are moving away from all of that. What we are moving toward is a crime-free society, abundant amounts of food, medical cures being released to the public, the mining of things like asteroids and stuff like that, the venturing out into space using anti-gravity technology, the creation of a free energy system, the understanding of how to interact with extra-dimensional beings, okay? We're talking about changing the collective mind of the planet. We're talking about going from everything being top secret and all jumbled up and everybody going, what's going on? Why is everything so messed up? I don't understand. To everybody going, oh, now it all makes sense. That's why things were so messed up. Man, those guys are really assholes, aren't they? Yeah, okay. Once full disclosure comes out, you guys, I mean, it's all right there. It's all right there. It's already out. It's already here. It's just a matter of recognizing it, learning the information, and then spreading it amongst your friends and your family. But once everybody in the world kind of gets it, once everybody starts talking about it, which is the goal here, this is the plan. While everybody's on lockdown, while everybody's at Easter, everybody talks about this stuff, okay? Once this happens, then this is the future. Once this happens, this is the future. We are talking about a symbiotic relationship with the planet, with nature. We're not talking about mass extinctions. We're not talking about deforestation. We're not talking about mass pollution. We're talking about the reverse of all of that, and the use of this highly advanced technology to like repair all the damage we've done. We're talking about using this highly advanced technology to finally clean up the radiation mess in Fukushima, okay? In a day, in a freaking day, snap of a finger. In many ways, it's already been done, but that's for later. Case in point, guys, is we're talking about using this technology to move our civilization forward as opposed to enslavement. Okay, this is full disclosure. This is the goal of the military, of the Navy. They needed somebody to move up and step forward, okay? And it took a lot, you guys. It took a lot, okay? But everybody, I think, at a certain on a certain level, everybody kind of wants this. There's just individuals on the other side that are quote unquote fighting because it's all that they have or because it's their job. Okay, so the response to all this stuff that is happening in relationship to stopping the global mass death scenario that they tried to create with this pandemic, stopping the global mass creation of fear, stopping Agenda 21, stopping Monsanto, stopping the vaccine. The goal here is this, you guys. Once they realized that they were pretty much screwed, they were like, okay, so we need to do something to gain control of the narrative. We need to do something to put fear into everybody's hearts. That way we can control that fear. So they quote unquote released this COVID-19. They released this virus. Okay, and the virus is deadly for many people, in particular Asian males. But that doesn't change the fact that it was released intentionally to try to kill millions, if not billions of people. Okay, and with that said, these individuals plan to use this mass casualty event and this fear to inject individuals, to inject people with like microscopic nanometals, and in some cases, maybe even, you may call me crazy here, but like nanobots that go all the way down and affect your DNA and stuff, which they are out there, you guys. They're at the highest levels. They're like classified top secret. This stuff is real, okay? And there's certain individuals that work for the deep state. Why would you trust somebody that believes in eugenics and population control to give you a vaccine? That's something you can ask your friends and family at Easter. Why would you trust somebody that believes in eugenics, which is filtering the gene pool, okay, and depopulation to make vaccines that are supposed to, quote unquote, save your life, okay? Think about that. With all that said, Monsanto's going down hardcore, but GMO food, you guys, it is keeping everybody in a low frequency state of consciousness and fear. It is keeping people stupid, okay? This was a Nazi idea here, okay? And it compromises your immune system. GMOs is a Nazi idea that was supposed to be for feeding Jewish people and quote unquote undesirables, people like homosexuals or people that didn't go along with what Nazi Germany wanted. Okay, so the GMOs make your immune system vulnerable. Okay, because your immune system has to fight off this poison as opposed to dealing with the problem. So the whole idea, their tactic was, you guys, to create a mass fearful casualty event, keep everybody's minds controlled through the food, yada, 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 inject people with these nanometals, these nanobots, okay, that they would then use 5G towers to control and manipulate so that they could create a global Borg-type hive mind that they controlled. And I'm not even kidding you guys. This was their plan. Okay, this is what they had in mind. Okay, now it's really important to note that Big Pharma and the New World Order cannot exist without presidents or governments assigning mandatory vaccinations and 5G stuff into law. So, in other words, we have to consent. And it's not I refuse, it's a matter of I'm not going to be injected with that vaccine. No, I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm fine. Now I refuse. You don't have to cause an issue. You just say no, right? Do what Nancy Reagan said. Just say no to vaccines from Bill Gates. Okay? If you understand this man and his place in like the global socioeconomic evil satanic pyramid, you guys got to know there's no way we're letting him in our country. You know that there's no way he's going to be allowed to do this. You know that we're not going to allow this type of 5G type stuff to go on. You guys know that. You got to know that. You got to trust us enough to know that. So we have a plan. We have a contingency plan. Okay? We have a plan to work. You always adapt. You always overcome. The enemy's not ever going to be, it isn't always going to be predictable. Okay? In many cases, they're playbook is very, very predictable. And once you see the pattern, it's like, oh my God, that again? Really? Come on now. But they keep it up. Okay, so all we have to do is we just have to keep it up. We just have to maintain, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Okay, and eventually we will get everybody in the world on this wavelength that we're on this understanding about what's actually going on and who is actually the enemy here. Okay, just a little bit of information you can share with your friends at Easter. Every time the United States military told the UN where we were going to be fighting, who we were going to be fighting, and when. In other words, when we let them know all of our intel, each and every time we were ambushed. Okay? We were ambushed. American soldiers died fighting people because we told the UN where we were going to be and where. Or where and when, whatever. Anyway, the UN is not our friend. Okay? Bill Gates is not your friend at all. Trust me on that. Okay? We're talking about people that want to use nanometals, nanobots to hijack the minds of the population here. So, through their creation of this COVID thing, we saw that coming through Project Looking Glass, as I explained before. All right, we saw all of this coming. We know their playbook. We see where all of their weak points are. In martial arts, there's a form called mantis, where you take your fingers and you hit pressure points and you debilitate your aggressor like that. Okay. And what you got to keep in mind, you guys, is that if we hit the right and most sensitive parts of the cabal, then their whole house of cards just comes tumbling down. There's no way it can be maintained. Okay? So what we need to do here is need to recognize the way that we have taken this COVID-19 thing, which is a reality. I'm not saying that people aren't dying. I'm not saying that it isn't a deadly virus. It is. In some cases, it is. Okay? But what has happened is that the media has tried to use it to spin fear so that those that control that type of media are able to control the narrative, you see. But what has ended up happening is, due to all the intel that Q has been leaking, we were ready for this in the Q community. So we knew what was going on, and we and the Q community are working in tandem with the military based on this idea that COVID-19 really isn't like that much of a quote unquote threat, in the sense of like, I mean, it is a threat in the life save, and it kills people, but it's more so an opportunity to put everything on lockdown. That way we can go in and arrest the individuals in these global high-ranking socioeconomic pyramids. Okay, people that have top secret clearances and stuff, or at least had top secret clearances. And that's what's, I think, most important to understand here about this whole the hunters have become the hunted thing, you guys, is that for quite some time, our entire system was corrupted by people that had top secret security clearances, and everything they did was classified until recently. Once they all lost their top secret security clearances, once they lost their security clearances, the hunters became the hunted. New people filled their positions. Patriots filled their positions, essentially. And we've been working to bring the whole thing down. Also, let's look at it like this. We have this COVID thing, so we put everything on lockdown. We know this is coming. We put everything on lockdown. That way there won't be a mass casualty event. We also get everybody talking about like top secret stuff with their friends and their family, who are wondering and worried, oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, what's going on? In this time of curiosity and wondering what's going on and vulnerability, we released this idea about these patents, these 3 Navy patents that give us the future. Okay, we also are working toward creating a gold-based currency as we speak by merging the Federal Reserve with the Treasury and seizing all the Rothschilds' assets and making them pay our debt. Okay, through the RICO Act. Essentially, through this legal means, we brought the whole house of cards down. And when it comes down to like the satanic order, what we've done is this is the intel I've received, is that white hats tainted their adrenochrome. Okay, and they tainted it for a while, for at least a couple of batches, so that way when it stopped, when the adrenochrome stopped coming to them, we could detect which people were actually taking it based off of certain things that were in their body or in their blood, certain microbiological organisms, certain adaptations, okay, that can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt in court that these individuals were consuming this stuff. Okay, so it's about hitting them in the right spots, in the right time. Okay, if any, in martial arts, the whole reason why it's self-defense is because the whole idea is that if somebody were to try to attack you, anytime anybody tries to attack, they end up leaving themselves vulnerable in one way or another, in one place or another. And so a skilled martial artist is just going to wait for somebody to attack them in a way that leaves them vulnerable, and then exploit that vulnerability. All right? So what had to be done is this whole process of fighting using socioeconomic systems and militaries and global governments and stuff like that, which from what I understand, you know, countries like Russia are actually working in tandem with the United States to defeat the cabal. Certain aspects of China are also working to defeat the cabal in their country, from what I understand. And in other cases, I hear that it's like a continued fight. One thing I do know is that NATO, Russia, the United States, UK, these like massive groups of individuals are working in tandem to get rid of this cabal, to release these patents, to bring these people to justice all over the globe. What we need from everybody, though, is we need everybody to Rain Man this information, okay? We need you all to understand everything it is that I'm telling you, in particular about this technology, like the 3 patents the Navy's released, and the gold-based currency, okay? These 4 things, you guys, this is the plan. Talk about these 4 things. Just keep spamming it, okay? Keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, okay? Tell your friends, tell your family, get this in the global dialogue. Okay, these cures, medical cures, a free energy system that can literally change the weather so we don't ever have to worry about natural disasters ever again. Okay? What happened in Louisiana, what happened in New Orleans, that was an attack using this weaponry on behalf of the cabal. That's right. That's why they didn't allow these buses to get out. That's why they didn't do anything when they knew the levee was going to break. We have an army of super soldiers, of which I am one. And you'd best believe the hunters have become the hunted. And these people don't even realize who they're fucking with. And we're going after them. We're already got most of them rounded up, I'll tell you that. But there's still more to come. Oh, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. So, it's important to recognize that you guys got, in the Q community, y'all got angels on your side. We have God on our side. We have truth on our side. All right? And yes, you have weaponized super soldiers on your side. Now, how you know you can trust me, how you know everything it is that I'm telling you is true, how you know basically this is legit is this, you guys. First of all, like I said, I'm not the only person that's been recruited into the super soldier program. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I am coming to you from the Navy. I've said this numerous times, okay? And this whole idea of Captain America fighting Nazis, working with the military is a reality, okay? This is something that is like drip disclosure at the time, and now it's being used to verify everything it is that I'm telling you. That's what part of these movies and stuff is about, okay? It's helping the subconscious mind of the planet and the people to get up to speed, okay? So with that said, you guys, the most recent quote-unquote step down or resignation on behalf of the Secretary of the Navy and the recent press conferences with Trump are all comms regarding the things that I'm putting out there. You guys have to understand there's no way that they would allow this information into the Q community if they didn't want it. Do you realize how much they track the Q community boards? Do you realize how much they are like tracking individuals that are trying to like quote-unquote disseminate disinformation? Okay, they don't allow it. We're talking about a military operation here. Okay, so they wouldn't be giving you this information if it wasn't true. Okay, and I'm just gonna give some examples of what I mean. When this gentleman, what used to be the Secretary of the Navy, was talking about this captain leaking a letter about concerns about COVID-19 and blah 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 blah, and how he resigned, he stepped down. Okay, that was right around the time that I started disclosing that I was Captain America, that I started explaining all this stuff about disclosure and about my nature with the super soldier program and all that stuff, okay? And it was also around the time that Donald Trump, quote unquote, spelled out COVID-19. He's trying to communicate with you that I'm spelling everything out for you guys. I'm spelling everything out and explaining to you exactly everything that is going on in regards to my nature with the super soldier program, what actually happened regarding the solar flash, how we rid the planet, how we're continuing to rid the planet of these interdimensional beings, what is going on with these secret societies, with these deep underground military bases, with these highest levels of power, et cetera, okay? So I spelled it all out for you. And in one of his most recent addresses to the press regarding this whole thing with the Navy, he looked at the camera several times. In particular, he also said, I don't know him personally. Okay, he's talking about the captain. With that is a comm saying, yes, what I've said about being asked to interfere in this war by Donald Trump is a reality. Yes. Okay. He's a captain of a big ship. How did this information get out to the media? Why did it get out to the media? Okay. These questions. Okay. These are comms. How these people work is black is white and white is black. Bent is clear and clear is bent. Okay? Especially when it comes to relaying information from like the highest levels and the top levels. Okay? So when the Secretary of the Navy stepped down, when I started putting out more and more that I was Captain America and that I met like actually like a quote unquote Navy intelligence officer, okay, which my door would get kicked in if that wasn't true. It's a felony, And I'm not claiming that I have a rank in like the Navy. What I'm saying, you guys, is that I'm a contracted military intelligence officer, like a contractor, like an independent contractor. Okay. And based on the way that they've contacted me, I don't have all these non-disclosure agreements. I don't have all these secret top secret contracts that I've signed where I said I wouldn't say anything about this stuff, basically. Okay, so I'm in a very, very, very unique position to do full disclosure regarding all of these secrets that they have been keeping from the public for quite some time, in many cases for national security's sake. So at this point, we in the military could move forward and kick off this global cabal. Okay, so one of the other things that the Navy secretary said regarding this gentleman stepping down, before he stepped down himself, when he was talking about the captain of the Theodore Roosevelt, he threw out the idea of sober. He said a sober mentality, okay? And this is also a con, because I'm talking to you about the fact that I have had to use these plant medicines and continue to use these plant medicines to aid in this process of kicking off these evil interdimensional beings, okay? Now, I know all this may cause a cognitive dissonance, and you may be like, dude, you've just completely lost your fucking mind. But no, you guys, no. What it is there's a certain way that we're going to communicate with you. There's a certain way that we're going to try to get you to understand. That way you guys come to the conclusion yourselves. That way it affects the collective mind of the species in a very, very profound way. The moment you understand that I'm working hand in glove with the highest levels as like a psychic soldier, as like a super soldier, and that we are fighting for life, we are fighting for good, and we are at war, the better, okay? Understand, not everything is going to be clean. Not everything is going to just be like handed to you right away. Okay. And it's not always going to come to you in a way that you would expect or anticipate. But this whole COVID-19, this Chinese virus scare is a necessary event, you guys. And we are using it to bring an end to this global cabal. We're using it as a legal way of showing the world the type of evil these people are willing to commit. Okay. Do you trust the U.S. military? I certainly hope so, because we've told you everything. Do you trust the chain of command? I certainly hope so. They've told me to come forward and tell you everything. Have faith, you guys. We are in control. Patriots, Patriots Day. Have faith. Talk about this stuff. This is the plan. You were chosen for a reason, you guys. And you are being provided the highest level of intel to ever be dropped publicly in the history of the world, you guys. Use this information. Protect and comfort those around you, you guys. Where we go one, we go all, baby. If anything, all this virus has done is proved that the entire world can be easily manipulated through fear by simply controlling the media, academia, and medicine. And that is why through these patents, through these 3 Navy patents, we can revolutionize all of these industries. Okay? We can change everything. We can, and all through people recognizing the patterns in the cue drops and what it is that I'm saying, and all of this stuff, okay, and spreading the word about this technology, these 3 patents, and the gold standard, all of this, these army of digital soldiers doing this without spreading fear about what's going on in with our children, these deep underground military bases. Don't use that as your topic of conversation, you guys. It's not going to work, but this will. And we can change the collective mind of the species, and we can change the quantum hologram. We can change our relationship with other countries in every single way through liberating ourselves. We can like create a blueprint for the rest of the world. That way they can also overthrow this cabal. That way they can also get out of debt. That way they can also create themselves a new and a thriving populations. You know, thriving country. Okay. We just have to recognize the patterns, you guys. These people will be brought to Guantanamo Bay. These people will be brought to justice, and they currently are. In some cases, people are bailing out of windows and stuff like that before they can face military tribunals. But you best believe stuff's going down. Shit has hit the fan. And the only reason why this whole COVID-19 thing is so pervasive in the media is because shit's going down. Okay? And the media needs a way of pushing ideas, pushing a controlled narrative. That way large groups of people can kind of like be kept chill for a bit while all this stuff goes on. Okay, we're talking about people at the highest levels of banking, people at the highest levels of like the entertainment industry and Hollywood and global entertainment industries. We're talking about people like at the heights of like corporate conglomerates, international corporate conglomerates. We're talking about like highest level stuff here. Okay, and you guys got to understand, in order to get to this point where we're able to do all of this, it had to be drip, drip, drip feed. Okay, it had to be breadcrumb, breadcrumb, breadcrumb. It had to be follow the white rabbit. And now that we're at this place, I'm able to drop you a loaf of bread. I'm able to show you how all those breadcrumbs add up to a whole loaf. And now we can all take this whole loaf of understanding and move forward with it as a group. And we can change the socioeconomic and geopolitical system in this country and in the world forever, you guys, forever. So it is the military, it is the Q community's goal to create heaven on earth, you guys, and to maintain that heaven on earth by always being out front, okay? And you best believe I will be on that front line, you guys. Me, I will be on that front line, and so will all the rest of these super soldiers. So will the rest of the people in the military. So will our generals. So will our admirals and everybody below them. Okay? Because we believe in the USA. We believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. We believe in the people's ability to govern themselves, if but allowed to. We believe in God. We believe in truth. We believe in justice. We believe in freedom. And we will not sit back and watch as the world goes to hell in a handbag. We will not sit back and passively observe as our children and our women in particular are abused, are abducted, and are used by evil people that know not of the true soul that is in them and care not for it. We are moving toward a civilization based off of harmony, you guys, based off of things like compassion, gratitude, real wisdom, prayer, dare I say, yes, prayer, belief in God, belief in Christ. And if it's Buddha, if it's Krishna for you, know that all of these teachers are of the same light, speaking the same truth in different tongues at different times, that sought their age, or that were for their age, much the way that I am doing now. Yes, I'm calling myself a prophet of quote unquote God in the same way, you guys. And I don't shy away from that either. I'm here to help. I'm here to guide this process of moving from these really low, polluted, nasty frequencies based off of fear, based off of chaos, based off of pain and panic, destruction and death, into higher frequency realms of light, of love, of peace, of harmony, of symbiosis, of truth, of justice, of loyalty, of freedom. These will be the emphasis for our new civilization. These will be the common traits, the common treasures in this new heaven on earth. What I'm talking about is helping individuals to liberate themselves spiritually in a way that might terrify some people and might excite others, in a way that may be controversial, yes, for sure. But isn't the truth always controversial? Because so many people are swimming in a sea of lies. So many people don't understand what's actually going on in reality, that they leave it up to other people, whether it be politicians or scientists or priests or whatever, to tell them what's going on, what actually is fucking going on. And I'm here to just tell you, no, guys, this is how it works. If you just do this, 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 and this, You got it. It's not all that hard. You just got to put the puzzle together like this, and it works. This is the lion lying down with the lamb. I am prostrating myself before you, the world going to hell in a handbasket, and telling you I love you, telling you that, you know, we love you at the highest levels. We love you guys. We always have, and we have fought to protect you, and we have been fighting and dying to protect you guys for so long, since before Kennedy. Abraham Lincoln gave his life for a very similar cause to the one that we're fighting now, just during his time, you guys. He was like a white hat, okay? JFK, Eisenhower, Reagan, in many cases. How you know who the white hats are is who they try to kill. Okay, or who they smear like a mofo in the media, which is pretty much what they've tried to do with Trump. They've pretty much tried to assassinate him with lies. They've tried to smear his image with fallacy, with non-truth. And it hasn't worked. If anything, what it's done is it is exposed. And this is, I think, the final point that I'd like to make. And this is something I think might help all of you to feel just a little bit better regarding the opposition and how to deal with the opposition. Because sometimes, you know, you guys, believe me, I know, sometimes it's like, dude, how could you be so dense? You know? Or how could you believe that? But that's only because we have an informed understanding. And when we conduct ourselves in a way that is calm, that is collected, that is passionate, but at the same time humble and controlled, then we begin to get people to look at us and go, huh, I wonder what their thing is. I wonder what he's all about or she's all about. And then eventually they ask you, believe me, they eventually ask you, and they're like, what's your thing? Like, what do you believe in? Like, what do you do? What do you practice? And that's when you get a chance to kind of open up and tell them, well, this is what I believe. This is what I do. This is the reason why. And, you know, I didn't come to these conclusions lightly. I actually came through like lots and lots of research and lots of scrutiny on behalf of my peers and in many cases myself, because I understand the nature to some of this information and how it may sound really out there. But when you really, really grasp these levels, you guys, like we do, you know, it's going to be something that just our presence and our opinion shatters people's paradigms. And there's a way to do that that's friendly, and a way to do that that makes you look like an ally, as opposed to a way to do that that isn't friendly, in a way that makes you look like an enemy. You know, that causes them to have a cognitive dissonance that they don't like versus a cognitive dissonance that they do like. Like, huh, that's interesting, new information. I'd like to get more of that new information. And that's why I'm trying to explain that this control of the narrative of like these 3 patents, you guys, I'm just going to keep beating the dead horse, these 3 patents and the gold standard. This is the topic of conversation. This is the stuff we are pushing. This is the plan at this time. Push these things and keep on pushing them. And await further instruction. Myself included, believe me, I'm like I said, I'm working for people above me on the higher levels of power than myself in the sense. Okay, they tell me I'm on their level, but I try to be as much of a servant as I possibly can. Okay, I try not to let this level and this access and this level of power go to my head. So I'm giving it away freely to you, the people, for you to do with as you please. I'm Yellowstone Wolf. Remember, knowledge always overcomes power. Thank you for your time. Knowledge overpowers how I got here, y'all. Knowledge overpowers how I got here. Trust me when I say I'm giving you all the knowledge you need.